So we opened Buckle Down in December of 2013 with a 4-beer lineup. We had Belt and Suspenders, Shady Aftermath, which are both with us still, and then 2 beers that are now, I guess, archive beers. We don't make them anymore. Fiddlesticks, which is a Belgian IPA, and Mirth, which was a Belgian single. Pretty quickly it became apparent that we needed to bring a double IPA into the mix. That was where Clencher was born. So it was the first, I guess it was our 5th beer. So the first beer outside of those core 4 that we introduced. It started out, and this is again in the days of the hop shortage of 2013. You couldn't find any hops, right? So we begged and borrowed all our friends to get what we could get. And Pete Crowley at Haymarket was able to hook me up with some Simcoe and some Centennial. And that's kind of the starting point of Clencher, was a Simcoe Centennial beer. It sold fantastic. It was a great beer. And due to the fact that we couldn't find any hops, by necessity, Clencher became a rotating hop beer. So not only did it give us a chance to explore other hops, it also kind of filled a gap where we could use what we could actually get. So, from that initial Simcoe and Centennial, we went to Simcoe Amarillo, Simcoe Citra. We could actually get Simcoe, so that's kind of why that was always a base hop in the beer. And then we'd play around with other things we could get. Starting in, I guess maybe 2016, we started to can Clencher and got kind of locked into Simcoe and Citra beer, just because that's what we could find. That's what we got hop contracts on, and it really locked us in. The hop combo was great, but towards the end it started to get a little bit, a little bit stale, a little bit boring. It's always the same beer, always the same great beer, but you need variety. Fast forward to 2019, things are blowing up with haze. It's all about the hops. It's all about new hop profiles, new hop combinations. We've gotten this sweet labeler that we now use so we can have more flexibility in terms of the branding. And we all thought, let's go back to the roots of Clencher and bring back a rotating hop beer, more of an experimental beer, one we can play with. The brew team can try out new hops and see how the blends play out. That started at the beginning of last year with Clencher 1. We're now into Clencher 5. Fast forward, it was in May of 2020. We're on Clencher 5. And it's a fantastic beer. It's a Citra, Azacca, Belma beer. Citra obviously is a mainstay of craft breweries. It's probably the most popular hop in the United States for craft brewers because it's awesome. It's fantastic. Huge tropical notes. It's a beautiful hop. Azacca is a little bit less well known. It's got some tropical fruit, but it's also a little more resiny, a little more dank. And for me, when I say dank and resinous, it's got a little more of a bite to it. I don't want to say harshness, but it's a hop. It's not just fruit. It's got some other components there. And Belma is a brand new hop. That one is described by the experts as being berry forward, like strawberry, raspberry. So it's got a bright note to it. I don't think it tastes like strawberries, but it's got a nice bright peak to it. Together, I think it's a really nice hop blend. So you got those kind of brighter citrus and berry notes, but you've got that base that Azacca gives you of a little more of that resin, a little more of that mouth coating kind of hoppiness. It's hard to describe, but beautiful blend, plays out really nicely. Ever since we started Clencher, it's always been a very straightforward malt bill. Pils malt and a little bit of Victory. Victory's a hop or a malt from Brice that's pretty heavily toasted. It's got a nice nutty maltiness to it. It's a very small component of the beer, but it adds a nice amount of malt to the beer. Versus most of the beers I think today, especially the hazes, are much more like hills, oats, and wheat. This one's got a little more malt to it. So it's a little bit of a throwback to 2014, but it's not a crazy malty beer. It's not like a 90-minute from Dogfish Head or anything like that. Overall, the plan for Clencher is just to continue on. I'm starting to experiment with a hop called Idaho Gem, which I think I'm going to play into this beer. It's just a real nice canvas for us to kind of experiment with and see where we can explore in the world of hops.